We've been through all types of weather while living in our RV, but nothing has come close to the 2020 hurricane season here on the Gulf Coast. There's no way to describe the devastation, but there's also no way to describe accurately how hardworking people of the Southeast came together to help their loved ones, their neighbors, and even strangers.
Tropical Storm Cristobal brought a lot of rain and storm surge to Alabama's Gulf Coast. My daughter and I were on sea turtle patrol that morning. Sadly, we knew we had lost some sea turtle nests. It rained and rained and rained. One of our favorite times to visit the beach is after a storm. While there was a lot of erosion, there was also a lot of wildlife. While there was so much to see on shore, we looked up in amazement to see 3 magnificent frigate birds flying overhead, 2 males and 1 female. These birds are not something we see every day. The next morning, I saw 2 more females and 4 more males. In 2 days, I had seen 9 of these amazing birds. And then...
I've been on this team for 7 years, and I've never found turtle tracks. I've been to nests and helped to dig for the tracks, but I was never the one who found them. And this morning, my walking partner and I found turtle tracks.
As Cristobal headed inland, we were hopeful that it would be the last storm of the season. We had no idea that this was just the beginning.
We were very thankful when Marco, which had briefly become a hurricane, weakened to a tropical storm. It still brought enough of a storm surge to have an impact on the beach. Suzanne stopped at the beach before landfall when the storm was still a hurricane to check on a volunteer project.
So everything looks pretty good. You never know with water what it's going to do. So we'll just have to wait it out. Look at all the sand that has been brought up. You can't really see from the camera how tall the ledge is. The morning after Tropical Storm Marco, Laura is out there somewhere gaining strength and trying to become a major hurricane, which that's what she's forecasted to do.
I went to the beach with friends to count birds to submit to eBird. There were so many of them flying east to escape the coming storm that we stopped counting after about 20 minutes because we also wanted to explore the beach for other wildlife. As we watched the birds escape ahead of Laura, we were so thankful that we would not take a direct hit, but at the same time, we felt horrible for those west of us who were bracing for it.
I'm down at the public beach in Gulf Shores. The waves are huge. We feel horrible for Texas and Louisiana. It's a really strange place to be in when you're so relieved that it's not you, but that means that it's somebody else. And you know it's going to be devastating.
This catastrophic Category 4 hurricane tied as the strongest hurricane on record to make landfall in Louisiana with maximum sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. Overall, it resulted in $14.1 billion worth of damage and caused 77 deaths.
I'm here this morning, the day after Hurricane Laura, at Gulf State Park, the Cotton Bayou access. It's a lot windier today than it was when I was out yesterday at the public beach. As you can see, the waves are still high, but they're not nearly as high as they were yesterday. But it's just so beautiful out here. It's hard to believe that not far from here it's utter devastation.
We flew over the north edge of Laura on our way to Los Angeles. It was hard to fathom how something that was still battering the land below could be so beautiful from above. As Hurricane Sally approached the northern Gulf of Mexico, it strengthened to a Category 2 hurricane, but then weakened and was expected to make landfall as a weak Category 1 or even as a tropical storm. We had planned on waiting out the storm at our oldest daughter's house.
At about 8 o'clock that evening, Barry said to our youngest and I, "This is your last chance. I'm going to go back to the camper and get a few things. Is there anything back there that you guys want?" Our youngest also lives in her own camper.
Meanwhile, Suzanne interpreted a graphic from the National Hurricane Center to say that the storm was strengthening. While this did in fact eventually happen, it wasn't true at the time. Thankfully, this is what caused us to move Ava's camper to a safer location and to evacuate ours entirely.
So when our oldest daughter texted us at 2:19 this morning, we were shocked when she said that it was near Category 3 and that the situation was terrible. We are camping in Montgomery. Our oldest and our youngest daughter and our grandson came up to join us last night because there's no power down in Baldwin County.
This slow-moving storm basically parked in the Gulf, dumping rain on Alabama's Gulf Coast for hours before making landfall. Because the ground was so saturated, the high winds were able to easily topple thousands of trees. There was widespread flooding, and many homes were either damaged or destroyed. This is what happened to the campground we left. The people of South Alabama immediately went to work to clear the roads of debris, which enabled the linemen and other restoration workers who came from all over the country to get to work even more quickly. While so much has been accomplished, crews are still working to clean up debris. The National Guard and church and community groups came with supplies, food, water, and workers.
Our daughter lost her above-ground pool, several trees, and has to have a new roof on her house. The frame on Ava's camper broke in one area, but has already been welded back together. It took us several days and a little ingenuity to clean up our daughter's yard.
Work smarter, not harder. You know, one of the reasons we RV is so we don't have to do this kind of thing anymore.
More fire ant mounds than usual popped up all over the yard because of the saturated ground. Our grandson was bit over 100 times, so we treated the yard with poison. Compared to others, we had little damage and are so very thankful that both our daughters, grandson, Annie the Labrador, and of course Benny the Beta made it through the storm safely.
After Hurricane Sally took the Gulf Coast by surprise, we weren't going to take any chances with Delta.
Well, it's Tuesday morning and we have another hurricane coming our way. Right now we are preparing to get out of our campsites for Hurricane Delta. I've got two RVs. That's my daughter's RV and that's our RV right there. And one truck way in the back. So what we're doing today is we're gonna get going on a day earlier than we did before so that I could get this one over to Tallahassee, and then we'll move over and bring this one right next to it. So we're going to be gone for a few days, and hopefully this ends up for a non-event for our friends and people down here in Gulf Shores, and pray for them. This is not fun.
While Barry and Ava evacuated her camper, I prepared our camper for its move.
I got the toys in here, the chairs, the plants, your crate full of odds and ends. Too much weight, or is it okay? This is all we have left. I'm putting the water up right now.
Unfortunately, Ava's camper blew a tire on the way to Florida. About 10 minutes into changing it, State Farm road assistant showed up to help out. It turned out that a flat tire was the least of Ava's worries.
No. Nuh-uh. Oh my goodness. Dad! Stop being so weird! Dad, take that off! What are you doing? Ah! Suzanne, come get your man.
So yesterday, Barry and our youngest daughter, Ava, took her camper to a state park in the Florida Panhandle. And so Barry got home last night and he had to install a mount for our new generator.
The generator had to be padlocked to the camper because it was getting a lot of attention. We were very relieved when it was mounted to the camper. Soon we were on our way. As we drove home, we saw that help was already on its way to Louisiana.
We had to fly to Michigan at about the time Zeta was expected to make landfall, so instead of evacuating, we prepared the campers and watched the storm very closely in case we needed to make a run for it. Our area ended up with tropical storm conditions, so thankfully we didn't need to leave. Our flight out of Pensacola was delayed because of Zeta, and we flew above its clouds as we landed in North Carolina. Our connecting flight was also delayed because of the storm, and we ended up having a rather turbulent flight. As we headed to Michigan, Zeta headed across the Atlantic all the way to the United Kingdom.
We feel like this hurricane season made us become even more prepared for severe weather. We also learned a lot about hurricanes.
You can't trust what category a storm is. There are a lot of variables. The storms in this season seem to gain strength at the last minute, and when they were not expected to do so.
We had been told by other RVers that we could easily go through a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. We absolutely feel this is not the case. They must have been in the outer bands of the storm to have survived.
Making the decision to evacuate is really difficult. This is much easier for us because we have a home on wheels, our businesses are internet-based. The forecast for these storms changed so much day to day and even hour to hour that it was just impossible to know. There's a lot of things to consider that you don't understand until you're actually living in this environment.
Making the decision about when to return isn't easy as well. Will you have phone service, electricity, or water? Can you get groceries?
After a hurricane, many of the roads become impassable. It took our daughters quite a while to get to where we were camping.
Two things that really surprised us when we got back was the strong smell of pine from all the downed trees, and how one area can look like it hardly had a breeze, and the next one be completely destroyed.
Please pray for those who are still cleaning up, rebuilding, looking for work, or trying to find a new place to live, especially for those in Louisiana who got hit several times this season.